Welcome to CINEPRO, where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. The movie begins with a man named Ryan, who has just arrived in Spain and is waiting for his friend Jake in front of the airport to take him to his house. This is because Ryan doesn't know anyone in Spain except for Jake. However, Ryan manages to find Jake's house before Jake returns. When Ryan arrives at Jake's house, he's very impressed because it is spacious and luxurious, unlike Ryan's house in America. Later, Ryan makes himself some food and sits down to eat. At night, Jake arrives home and greets Ryan, telling him how much he missed him since they hadn't seen each other for over 12 years. We learn that both of them are chefs who met a long time ago at culinary school. Jake had gotten a good job opportunity in Spain, which forced him to move there. Ryan then asks Jake how he managed to buy such an expensive house. Jake explains that the house belongs to the agency he works for, and they move him to a different house every week. Ryan is amazed at the benefits Jake receives for his work and asks if the agency needs another chef. Jake tells him they don't currently need anyone. Jake then asks Ryan about his job in America, and Ryan explains that he works as a chef in Dallas but doesn't earn much. Ryan then asks Jake to tell him more about his job. Jake reveals that the agency he works for sends him to different countries around the world to cook for important people. He mentions that he has traveled to many countries, including Turkey, Spain, and the Balkans, but he is currently on a 2-day break until they call him for a new job. Ryan is, of course, very impressed, assuming Jake must be earning a lot of money. He asks Jake again if he can find him a job at the agency, but Jake responds with disappointment, saying his job is not as ideal as it seems. He advises Ryan not to consider working with him, as the agency often asks him to fulfill strange requests that no one would imagine. However, Jake refuses to disclose the nature of these requests. The next day, Jake wakes Ryan up to exercise together. After their workout, they go to a cafe for breakfast where they meet a girl named Alice. They become friends with her, and she tells them that she quit her job and decided to spend all her savings traveling around the world. When Alice learns that both of them are chefs, she's very impressed and insists on tasting their food to see who is the better cook. The three of them head to Jake's house, where Alice asks them to cook risotto in the Italian style. They both start cooking, and when they finish, they blindfold Alice and let her taste their dishes. Alice is very impressed with both dishes but prefers Ryan's risotto. The next day, Ryan wakes up to find a threatening message from someone in America, warning him that he will be killed if he doesn't repay the money he owes. It becomes clear that Ryan fled to Spain to escape his debts. However, he ignores the message and asks Jake about Alice. Jake tells him that she has returned home and also mentions that he received an unexpected work call and won't be back until the evening. Taking advantage of Jake's absence, Ryan logs into his bank account using Jake's laptop to check his balance. He is shocked to find that he has over 1.7 million euros in his account. That evening, Jake returns home feeling down and starts drinking alcohol with Ryan. Ryan asks Jake if something is bothering him. Jake admits that he is stressed because of work and feels like he hasn't achieved anything in life, as he has grown older without getting married or having children. He thanks Ryan for visiting him in Spain, saying that his visit made a big difference to him. The next morning, Ryan wakes up to find that Jake has taken his own life. Ryan doesn't seem too upset, as part of him envies Jake for living a happy life. However, he is worried about what to tell the police. Ryan then comes up with a strange idea. He decides to dispose of Jake's body himself and assume Jake's identity to live his life. The first thing he does is call the bank, pretending to be Jake, and claims he forgot his account password. The bank employee tells him they need to verify his identity before resetting the password, asking him some personal questions. Ryan cannot answer the questions and claims to have temporary memory loss. The bank employee apologizes and says she cannot help him, ending the call. On the same day, Ryan receives another threatening message from the person in America, who sends him a picture of his mother and threatens to kill her if he doesn't return the money. Ryan asks for a week's time and promises to pay back more than the requested amount. That night, Ryan throws Jake's body into the sea to ensure the police won't find it. The next day, Ryan sits alone in a cafe, thinking of a way to pay off his debts, but cannot come up with a solution. When he returns home, he's surprised by the arrival of 2 employees from the agency Jake worked for, named Emo and Morris. They ask Ryan if he is Jake, and Ryan lies, claiming to be Jake. Emo greets him, saying she has heard many great things about him from the agency and is excited to work with him. Ryan asks her about his salary and requests an advance payment. Emo agrees and asks how much he needs. Ryan asks about the total salary, and Emo explains that it varies each time, but for this job, he will earn $300,000. Ryan is shocked by the amount and requests only $50,000 as an advance. Emo transfers the requested amount immediately, and Ryan quickly sends the money to the person threatening him. Later, Emo asks Ryan if he has chosen the type of meat he will cook for the upcoming banquet. Ryan is confused by the question and says he hasn't chosen anything yet. Emo becomes very upset, explaining that 5 very important clients are coming to taste his meat and that they have paid millions for the banquet. Ryan apologizes and asks her to take him to the place where he can choose the meat. Emo takes him to the city center and tells him to select a healthy human who doesn't use drugs to ensure the meat is fresh. She also mentions that Morris will be there to assist him, choosing the victim. Of course, Ryan is shocked by what he hears and realizes that this agency is involved in human trafficking. He finally understands why his friend took his own life. Unfortunately, he has no choice but to follow the agency's orders, or else they will eliminate him. At night, Ryan returns home and keeps thinking about the predicament he's in, unsure of how to act until he gets an idea. He quickly gathers his belongings and tries to escape, but suddenly, Emo appears in front of him and asks where he's going. He tells her he just wanted to take a walk because he's feeling restless. Emo tells him that she has heard a lot about him at the agency and knows that he gets anxious every time he has to choose a victim. She explains that the agency only kills up to 75 people annually, earning over $100 million in return, money paid by clients who want to taste human meat. She also tells him that the agency donates 10% of its profits to charitable organizations, contributing to the development of various fields like agriculture, industry, education, and more. This is in contrast to large companies, which only think about their own interests. She gives examples such as oil companies causing the deaths of over 100 workers annually due to pollution, and more than 250 farmers dying each year because of chemicals. Emo believes her agency serves society, unlike other companies, and they only kill 75 people annually. The next day, Morris wakes Ryan up to choose the victim. They arrive in the middle of the city and start searching for a target until a man named Jose approaches them and asks if they need help. Morris decides that Jose will be the victim and tells him that their car broke down, asking for his assistance in fixing it. While Jose is under the car checking for the issue, Morris quickly pulls out a silenced gun and kills him. However, he is surprised by an officer named Gale, who stops him and asks what he's doing there. Morris tells him he works in real estate and was there with his friend to inspect the area because they're planning to build a hotel. He gives the officer his business card, which states his real estate job and the address of the upcoming dinner event. The officer believes him and leaves. Afterward, Morris and Ryan move Jose's body to the kitchen under the event house. Emo instructs Ryan to kill Jose and prepare him for the evening's dinner. Reluctantly, Ryan complies, and after finishing, he takes a shower to wash off the blood, feeling devastated by what he has done. At that moment, Ryan decides to escape. He quickly gathers his things, gets in his car, and drives away. However, he accidentally hits one of the agency's workers. He immediately gets out of the car to check if the worker is okay and apologizes profusely. In the meantime, Morris arrives and realizes Ryan was trying to escape. He warns him that the agency will kill him if he tries to run. Ryan asks Morris how long he's been working for the agency. Morris replies that he's been with them for 5 years. Ryan then asks how he managed to stay in this job for so long and why he hasn't thought of leaving. Morris explains that he loves the job because it pays well, allows him to travel the world, and provides him with everything he needs. Ryan asks if anyone has ever left the agency without being harmed. Morris tells him about a chef named Greta who was allowed to leave because she proved her competence. Instead of taking money from her, they let her go upon her request, though Morris doesn't know where she went. This gives Ryan a glimmer of hope, and he decides to continue working normally while planning another escape. Later, Ryan begins preparing the main dishes for that evening's dinner. At night, the first 2 clients arrive, and Emo welcomes them, assuring them they will enjoy the dinner. Shortly after, 2 police officers arrive, including Officer Gale and another officer named Gabriel. Emo asks them what they need. Gabriel introduces himself as Jose's uncle and says Jose has been missing since the morning. He learned from Gale that Morris and his friend Ryan were in the area where Jose was last seen and wants to speak with them. Emo tells him that Morris is out but will return in an hour. Gabriel decides to wait, so Emo reluctantly invites the officers into the house. She informs Gabriel that they're hosting a business dinner and also mentions that Morris works for her. Gabriel asks about the nature of the work, and Emo explains that they are in real estate and are currently planning to build a hotel in the city. Gabriel expresses a desire to speak with Ryan to see if he knows anything about his nephew. Emo agrees and takes him to the kitchen to talk to Ryan. Naturally, Ryan becomes nervous upon seeing the officers but tries to stay calm. Gabriel introduces himself, shows Ryan a picture of his nephew, and asks if he saw him that morning. Ryan insists he hasn't seen him. Gabriel then questions why Ryan is cooking when Emo mentioned he works as an architect. Ryan explains that he enjoys cooking occasionally because it's a talent of his. Gabriel starts asking him questions about architecture to verify his claim. Nervously, Ryan gives incorrect answers, prompting Emo to intervene and answer on his behalf. Emo then informs the clients about the police presence and asks them to pretend to be investors in front of the officers. After a while, Morris returns and meets with Gabriel, assuring him that he has never seen Jose. Gabriel begins to suspect something unusual and tells Emo that mysterious disappearances have been increasing in the city. He shares that many young people have gone missing this year, and their families received emails claiming they were fine, but no one heard from them again. Emo does this after choosing her victims, gathering all the information about them and sending fake emails to their families to prevent them from reporting to the police. Gabriel then goes to meet the clients during their dinner, shows them a picture of his nephew, and asks if they've seen him before. They all deny it, leaving Gabriel feeling hopeless. He decides to leave, but one of the clients, named Chi, stops him and offers he has dinner with them, and Gabriel agrees, but the officer arrives and decides to leave. Emma is very upset with what Chi did, so she takes him aside and asks him why he acted that way. Chi tells her that it was the right thing to do, so Gabriel wouldn't suspect them. Then Chi returns to the table with the other guests, and Ryan starts serving the meals. Everyone is impressed by the taste of the meat, especially Gabriel, who says he has never tasted meat this good before. Meanwhile, Alice arrives at the house and asks for Jake. Emma takes her to the kitchen to meet him, but Alice is shocked to find that Emma has taken her to Ryan. She asks them why they contacted Jake. Ryan tells her that it's a long story and asks her to leave because Jake has traveled and won't return. Alice is surprised when she sees Ryan cooking blood and asks him about the dish he's preparing. Ryan tells her to stop asking questions because he can't answer anything. At this point, Alice starts to feel that something unusual is happening. She quickly gets into her car to leave, but unfortunately, the car suddenly breaks down. Maurice appears in front of her and offers to take her home since it's late and there are no means of transportation. Back at the house, Ryan asks Emma how her maid managed to leave the agency without getting hurt. Emma is shocked to learn that the maid was killed when she asked to leave, but most of the agency's staff believe she managed to leave alive. Meanwhile, Gabriel is still impressed by the taste of the meat and calls Ryan to ask about the type of meat he's eating. Ryan tells him it's pork. Gabriel is very surprised because he knows the taste of pork well, and it tastes completely different from the meat he's eating. Later, Ryan returns to the kitchen to prepare the final dish, which is supposed to be tongue, but he is shocked to find that the tongue has gone bad. This becomes a big problem because all the guests are waiting for this dish. Emma comes up with an idea and decides to get rid of Alice and use her tongue to serve the guests. Ryan serves the final dish to the guests and hands a note to Gabriel, asking him to meet him in the bathroom. Gabriel goes to meet him there, and Ryan confesses everything about the agency and what happened to Gabriel's nephew. When Gabriel learns that he has eaten his nephew, he vomits everything. Ryan and Gabriel agree to meet in the basement kitchen of the house. Gabriel leaves the bathroom and thanks Emma and the guests, pretending that he has left. However, he goes down to the basement kitchen with Ryan, where Ryan shows him the evidence of the crime that took place. Gabriel is still in shock and wants to call the police, but he realizes he left his phone at home. Ryan asks him to wait there while he goes to get it. Unfortunately, Maurice comes down to the kitchen at that moment and upon seeing Gabriel, kills him. When Ryan returns to the kitchen, he finds Gabriel's body on the floor with Maurice standing next to it. Ryan pretends to be surprised by Gabriel's presence in the kitchen and starts helping Maurice dispose of the evidence of the crime. At the end of the day, Emma is seen sending emails to the families of Gabrielle, Alice, and Jose to make them believe that they are fine. The next day, Ryan wakes up in shock and sits with Emma and Maurice, who keep praising the quality of his cooking. They tell him that the agency is very pleased with his work. Maurice then implants a tracking device in Ryan's neck so the agency can easily locate him. Emma asks Ryan if he plans to spend his vacation in London as he usually does. Ryan replies that he will indeed do so. On the same day, Ryan arrives at the airport and sits drinking alone until it's time for his flight. It's clear that he is in a state of new shock from everything that has happened. He realizes that he will remain under the agency's control for the rest of his life. He has only two choices: to continue working for the agency or to do what his friend did. The film ends. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos.